Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Williamson. I'm a mentor with Think Nimble Labs, and I'm really excited to open up this box live with you. I got my cat, who's probably going to ruin the shot somehow. But what I do know, I don't know a lot about this box, but what I do know is that there's no catnip in it, because if there was, it would be torn to shreds. So here we go. Another side note, anything that has a box that looks like this in my family reminds me of the holidays when we gift wrap random things from around the house, and we have this really creepy clown that fits perfectly in a box this size. So I'm really hoping that you haven't conspired with my family. All right, box is open. Thank you for being a mentor of Think Nimble Labs. You're welcome. I'm really excited. All right, first thing is a game. It's a crossword puzzle. I am a game designer. I started an organization called Game Genius to try to make social impact fun and accessible. And so whenever I see a game, I get very excited. I might need a pen. How many words can I find on this crossword? I can see thank and you. I can see Peter. I can see a lot of word. Scholar. I can see, well, this is good. One of my favorite games is Scrabble, so my mind starts racing whenever I see a lot of letters together. There are a lot of words in here. I'm not sure how many I'm supposed to find, but I found a couple. And there's a nice thank you note in it. So thank you. All right, this stuff, you know I have cats, right? All right, hopefully Toasty doesn't come and find this. Oh, this is exactly what I wanted. I have always wanted a Rubik's Cube with Neil's face on it. That's nice. That's nice. And it's solved for me, so thanks, Neil. All right, I got some questions, I think. And the cat's here. Perfect. All right, so some questions to answer. First question, what is my morning routine? My morning routine, so I was a professional golfer for a number of years, and my morning routine was always before going out to the golf course. I lived in Florida. I had to get my workout in. I also needed to practice before it got really hot. So I got into a routine where I would work out in the morning. Just getting kind of the blood pumping helped me think and helped me get into a good groove for golf. And I think that's carried over for some of my off the course activities too. So I like to get in a quick workout, usually 30 minutes, an hour maybe, early in the morning, and then make sure I have a good breakfast. That's important to me, just to get some good energy for the day. And then I'm really bad for the rest of the day. I like to snack, but I snack on some bad food. But when I was playing professionally, I usually had a lot of fruit. So my morning routine is pretty simple, but I like to get up early. The cat, Toasty, and then I'm off and running. Second question, what is something interesting about my past? I'm not very interesting. Something interesting about my past. Well, I grew up in New Hampshire, which is kind of weird for a golfer. There haven't been very many professional golfers out of New Hampshire. But something interesting about my past. Well, weird facts, like I always injured myself when I was younger. I've never broken a bone, unless I guess you count teeth. I tried to jump over a fish pond and fell over the backside of the fish pond, which was like a 8 to 10 foot drop down a stairwell. And so that wasn't very good. And then when I was in I was in a Cub Scouts troop when I was little. I think, things like that might have helped kind of sculpt my wanting to give back to the community and be around people that also wanted to do the same. I was running around a jungle gym that had just opened in my elementary school, and there was this little kid that was climbing around and was about to go off the side of the jungle gym, just like fall 15 feet to the ground. I don't know why it was so tall, but it was. And I went and I ran to try to grab this kid. I was like, 7 or 8 years old. And I grabbed the kid by his hoodie and pulled him back, but my momentum took me straight into the like fireman's pole on the jungle gym, and I knocked out my 2 front teeth. So I had a fairly traumatic childhood with no 2 front teeth for like 3 days in school, and I think most of my classmates thought it was awesome, but it's caused a little bit of trouble as I've gotten older. So something interesting. What is one lesson you wish you learned 10 years ago? Probably the art of saying no. I love saying yes to things, probably at a fault. I'm very curious. And so I find myself, saying yes and overcommitting. And so over the years, I've been able to practice and do a few less things, and really concentrate on making some impact on a couple bigger projects instead of having myself spread across so many things. I still have a problem saying no, but I'm a little better at it now. And if I had learned it 10 years ago, who knows? And maybe I'd actually have a vacation at some point. What was the first game you ever made? Well, that's a throwback. So I grew up in a household of educators, and I think everything we did, whether it was on a family vacation, in between, school or after school, my mom was always, trying to make up a game about a certain topic. And I thought it was amazing. I like just taking random things from around your house and turning it into a game became commonplace for us. We always had family game nights. Whenever my dad got home, he was a pediatrician. And so just, developing through games was how I grew up. So the first game that I ever made was probably really long ago. I remember creating a lot of like board games, kind of like Candyland-ish games where you roll a die and you go up a board track, and you might have to pick a card, and that card sends you back or forward in the game, and we created some characters around Disney movies or something like that. And so I remember creating a ton of games that had absolutely no purpose other than taking a story that we had watched either in a movie or something. So that was probably the first game I ever made. I also was a golfer, so I loved to make snow golf courses in the yard, but that wasn't until I was maybe middle school. Who is the most foundational in bringing you to where you are in your career today? Man, I think collectively my family. I think growing up in a family of educators, having people that care about the community as much as my parents did and as much as my extended family does, that imprints on you a lot. I was introduced to philanthropy at a pretty young age and thought that was how I wanted my career I wanted to be a part of my career at all times. And so when I was playing golf, I was always looking for ways to give back as I was traveling around the world. And now that I'm in the DC community, I'm looking for ways again to connect in all of my strengths to be able to support the community that I now live in. And so my parents definitely got me to that place. But you go back generations, and I'm always looking for ways to connect family members to the various projects that I'm on, because I think they're similarly wired for social impact. Next question. Did you ever have a job? These questions are getting longer, by the way. I'm thinking I might have to get some glasses at some point. Did you ever have a job or skill that, have you ever have a job or learn a skill that seems so insignificant at the time, but you have found invaluable later on? Ooh, as someone who's curious, nothing to me is insignificant. I always feel like there's a way. Hello, getting a cat, insignificant. No, that's mean. A job or skill that seemed insignificant at the time. I mean, I could make a joke about a class that I hated, but I knew it was significant. I always felt like I love to engage with visual media, so I'm much more of a video watcher and podcast listener than I am a reader, and so I don't tend to go the reading route when I have something else at my disposal. So for some weird reason, I would say reading. I didn't take a lot of time to read a bunch of books in school. Obviously, I had to read textbooks, but whenever I could find some kind of visual, I learned a lot faster through experience. So I was looking for those kinds of things. So I do wish that I could read a little faster, because whenever I get into impact work or I'm working on an email, it just takes me that much longer to get through things, just because I'm a little bit slower processing words. I'm not sure if that was a good answer, but what is something you're most proud of doing? I think as a person who grew up in New Hampshire, I was told a lot growing up that playing professional golf was a kind of silly and non-realistic track. And I think one of the most proud accomplishments that I have, even though my career did not go as planned, is that I got to play an event on the PGA Tour, a couple actually. And hard work, determination got me there. Obviously, I had a lot of support from my family, but a lot of community members that were kind of like, "Why are you doing this? You got a really good education." I studied architecture and geography in school, so I had a lot of options kind of coming out, thinking about the design world. But I really wanted to take the sport that I had a passion for and also a talent for, and thought I'm pretty good at this. I think I can get to a really high level, and to be able to actually get to that level was special. So I'm very proud of my perseverance in doing that. And I think now, seeing how much value that experience of just growing up through traveling around the world, I think has given me a lot of perspective in terms of the social impact work that I'm doing now. It just gives me a kind of a wider or higher 30,000 foot view of certain issues. Who do you call for advice? My wife is a very intelligent person, and so it's nice to have someone who I can usually turn around to and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And so I generally turn to her because she is one of the smartest people I know. But my family is a good place to go to. I usually go toward people that are either experts in the field or have never heard about something at all, just to get their totally unbiased perspective of something, because I always find that's interesting, and it might add an interesting element to a conversation. What role does philanthropy? These cards are very excellently designed, by the way. I feel like this could be an actual card game. I thought you were going to have me create a game on the spot, actually. What role does philanthropy play in your work? Well, how much time do you have? It pretty much everything. I took a step away from my golf career about 3.5 years ago. Moved to the DC area, and my whole point of taking a step away is that I felt like I had an idea that could help philanthropy be more accessible for people who don't necessarily have the platform. I'm super lucky to be a part of a family foundation and have had that in my background and learned philanthropy through that. But I feel like everyone should have access and the ability to give back, because it's whether it's for mental health, education, just feeling like you want to try to level the playing field so everyone has a fair shot. That to me is critical in pretty much anything that I do. And so for Game Genius, the organization that I started here in DC, most of our work has been exploring how to help the nonprofit sector and social sector, and thinking about how can we institute some kind of playful dynamic or mechanism or social gathering that gets people aware of issues that others care about. And so we're working on a lot of different projects at one time, and most of them have some kind of philanthropic bent to them. So I would say this is probably the most used word that I have that very few people truly resonate with. And so I'm trying to make sure that more people can participate. There are a few initiatives that I've helped start here in the DC area, Giving Circle for next gen aged folks. And that's been a really fun experience of trying to build something from the ground up, but again, to create access for the community has been really meaningful. All right, next question. What was the hardest part of launching Game Genius? I think the hardest part of launching something that you know is impactful is convincing other people that it is impactful and important. And being in a community like DC, very institutional might be the word I'm looking for. Government is it's a very big footprint in the city. You have to know people to get into certain places. And it's very diverse. And so there are ways that I can help the city that feel very natural. There are spaces like environmental causes, which was a lot of my studies in school. There were kind of the education sector because of where my parents come from, where my wife works. But for me, networking and meeting people is really, really critical to making a concept like this works. You need to build trust and respect in the community. People have to think about you as a partner and not someone who's just trying to sell a service or a product. And so the last 3 years or so has been exploring the community and to try to find representatives of different people and cultures. That's been my big goal. And so I think it's both the most meaningful challenge, but I think it's also been the hardest challenge, just because it's talking to a lot of people and knowing that you're not going to get a ton of traction until some of those things start to click. And I think we're finally getting close to that point. Last question. If you could impart one piece of advice to someone starting a company today, what would it be? I've answered this question a lot, and it's changed a little bit over the years, but I would say find that moral compass that you are really passionate about, whether it's a social cause or something that you want to better the world with, and build your entire company around that moral. For me, I feel like equity and leveling the playing field, as good as a game reference as that is, has been my biggest goal. So if I find a community that is marginalized or doesn't have the advantages that maybe another community has, that's what I'll try to build a game or try to build an experience that helps them. It's very much bringing as many people to the table as possible to create things for their neighbors and community members. And as a white man, there are only so many things that I can do, in the community. And so it's getting the right representatives and people that can drive meaningful change and trust. And so for me, just trying to be a partner with people in the community is really important. And I would say for anybody who's starting up a business, there are more and more precedents out there that I think social impact is a strategy. And as long as it feels genuine and it's not something that you're just trying to, get a leg up on the competition, people will see that, trust it, and respect. This is an interesting trend, I think, across philanthropy and business right now, where philanthropy is coming more toward business and trying to do social enterprising and building revenue through products and services. And I think the business world is trying to do more social good and philanthropy. And I think we're kind of meeting in the middle, something that looks like a B Corp type model, where you might be very far behind if you're not a business doing social impact work. So I think some of the stuff that Think Nimble Labs is, I think this is a fantastic idea. I think it hits at a lot of these points of doing good work for the community, but also giving support to voices that can drive change themselves. So excellent set of questions. Hopefully that was coherent. And let's see what else is in the box. These. Oh, it makes noise. I really didn't think it was going to make noise. That's great. And I get multiple of them, so I'm definitely going to do them all at the same time. My cat, oh, look at them. My cats are crazy. Relative success. What else we got in here? We got one last thing at the bottom of the box. It says warning, spoilers on the back. I'm thinking this might be an answer key of some sort. So before I look at this, I might take another shot at this crossword puzzle, but I won't bore you with this kind of nerd alert that's coming on and trying to find as many words as I can. So with that, I might leave you, but thanks for taking some time with me. Again, I'm Peter Williamson, game designer and creative philanthropist here in the DC area, and hope this was somewhat inspiring. All right, have a good day.